Okay, for tonight, what we're going to do is we're actually going to use a 20-inch auto scrubber. You won't always have this size. You might have a larger one. You might be using a swing machine. It doesn't really make a difference. In this one, what we've done is we've put plain water in the machine, no chemicals. And what we're going to be doing is using this very thin, as you can see this pad is very thin. This is a chemical-free stripping pad. What this pad will do is it will actually scrub and abrade the floor finish with no chemicals needed, and I'm simply going to put it on the machine. The first step we're going to do is we're actually going to use plain water. We're going to scrub the water onto the floor, abrading the floor finish. We're not going to pick up the solution. We're going to do what we would call a double scrub. Even though it's just plain water, we need to get quite a bit on the floor. We're going to scrub it all, and then we will vacuum it later. I'm actually going to do just about half of the floor first, and then we'll talk about what we did. Now, what you notice that I did is I put water down, scrubbed it on the floor. You may be able at this time to see a little bit of dirt residue in the water. Bear in mind, we're not using any chemicals at all, just plain water. So any discolorization that you see in this water will actually be what we're removing from the floor. This is the whole idea whenever you top scrub. You're not trying to strip all of the finish off of the floor. What you're trying to do is simply remove all the dirt, debris, make as clean a floor as possible in the shortest amount of time so that we can simply resurface it with more floor finish and be going back to our regular maintenance program. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go over the floor a couple more times. What you may have noticed is I leaned down and I shut the water off. What this does is now I've got water on the floor. I don't need any more water, I just need to scrub what's there. So even though you hear the vacuum, you also notice the water's not coming up at this time. I want to simply keep working with that same water, no sense in using it anymore, just get it clean. So that's what we'll continue to do. Okay, a couple of other things. Depending on what type of machine you're using will depend on the amount of pressure that is given to the chemical-free stripping pad. Today what we're using is the Windsor Chariot. It only has 50 pounds of pressure. You would need to check with the machine that you're using. If your machine is actually putting down 100 or 150 pounds of pressure, then what you'll need to do is adjust the amount of times that you go over the floor for the results that you want. So the purpose of this demo, what we're going to do is we're going to drop the squeegee on the floor, vacuum this up, and show you the results. What you should be able to tell at this point, there should be a marked difference. I don't know if you can see it from the video or not, but down here, this side of the floor is very dull. That side of the floor still has shine to it. What we've done is effectively took the shine off the floor. Now, how many layers of floor finish we took off, it's really hard to say, but it's a good guess that we took off a couple layers. Did we get all the way down to no finish at all? No, there's still a little bit of shine, it's dull. But we don't want to take all the finish off. We're going to reapply floor finish so that we can go ahead with our maintenance program. Now at this point, what you want to do is go around and check your floor. And some of that is what I do when I'm riding the machine. I check the floor to see if there's any gum, tape, stickers, if there's any black marks that I really want to do any handwork on. If, in fact, you don't have any of those, or you've already done that step at this time, then what we do is we actually go through and we'll rinse the floor. Now, but because we put plain water in the machine, we don't have to go back and change the chemical. There's no chemical to change. When we're doing an open area like this, we don't even have to use a mop bucket. So, virtually, this is going to be the only thing I'm going to use to do this demo. This is just the auto scrubber. Because now I'm going to turn the water on, and I'll put water down, scrub, and vacuum all at the same time. What does this do? It actually cleans the machine out, cleans the pad out. It'll keep all that residue from going on the floor. So literally when you get through doing this process, you don't have to do anything other than run the machine. As soon as we get through, we can lay floor finish absolutely immediately after getting done. So the last step I'm going to do before we lay floor finish is I will simply rinse the floor. Now, one of the questions you might ask at this point is, why did he rinse the floor? Well, the reason is very clear. Even though I used plain water, through the traffic and use of the floor, other chemicals such as ice melt, chewing gum, soda, whatever it might be, even the cleaning chemicals that we use to mop our floors with, is still embedded in the floor finish. Some of that discolorization that you saw is actually dirt. Dirt has a pH. So if you remember from all of our other trainings we've done, we want to make the floor as pH neutral as possible. One of the things you could do at this point is you could actually pour some water on the floor right here where we've done this, take a piece of pH paper and test that water to see what the pH is. Now, most people won't go through that effort, but you certainly could to make sure that your floor is neutral. The Windsor Chariot machine, as you notice, the squeegee slides around behind the brush very well, and you notice there isn't any water left behind.